listening to Redneck.
Hi there, here's Danny, welcome to Sick Biker Studio. This series of episodes is dedicated to crashes and we're gonna learn from these crashes, trying to avoid such situations in the future. So on this episode, 4 crashes. We're gonna start with the least extreme one, and the last one will be pretty bad crash. At least three riders involved. I was almost involved in that one, and it could really end up with some broken bones. So here we go, crash number 1. The first one is not a serious one really, but here is how we can lose the traction on the muddy, steep climb, and we're gonna learn how to avoid that. So when you look at this race, it was full of climbs and descents, pretty steep ones, but let's just look at the guy on my right hand side. You can see right away that this wheel is being thrown from left to right on this track, so he's already struggling. Now he decides, I'm gonna change the lane, and he's on mine right now, and he crashes right now. So how did this happen? So you can see this guy is being thrown from left to right. Why is it so? Look at his cadence. Cadence for the beginners means the speed of pedaling. He's really pushing hard. I am pushing hard, but much quicker than he does. So his pedaling is not smooth, and here's his crash once more. So losing traction on the muddy, steep climb was the crash here, and the reasons are: number 1, low cadence, because low cadence here, super low cadence, means not smooth pedaling, and that means that you've got all the power on the wheel, no power on the wheel, all the power on the wheel, no power on the wheel. So your bike is accelerating and slowing down, accelerating and decelerating, which is the problem on the muddy terrain. The second thing here was that he was not able to keep the line, keep the balance here. That's why he was turning the front wheel. If you turn the front wheel on the muddy climb, it creates even more resistance for the rear wheel. And then the rear wheel will slip even more. And then the third reason for this crash, which is with the question mark, is the tire choice. I don't know the tire this guy was riding on, so cannot answer for that, but probably it wasn't the best one for this course. I was riding 29er Canada FSI with my Racing Ralph Schwalbes. No problems here, no issues. So remember, low cadence is not good. You need to have really smooth pedaling and try to just ride with your bike as smooth as you can. Then you will keep the traction, and try also to keep the balance so that you're not gonna be turning from left to right. Let's go to the crash number 2. So here is the mud at the high speed. It's not super high, it's 25 kilometers per hour, but this is the crash here. So here we are going down the hill. The speed is not super high, 26 kilometers per hour, but you can see the guy in the front is struggling to keep the balance, and there he is on the ground right here. Everybody was trying to keep the middle lane here, but he was not able to keep the balance on that one. So the higher the speed on the mat, the more our bike starts to float. The wheel will not be able to grab the ground much as on the low speed. Thus the bike will just start dancing around, and if you don't have the skills or don't have the tires, then you have to slow down. So let's stop here. Here you can see the lane, you can see the mud, you can see that he was off balance going to the right side. The guy just ahead of me was able to just go around, which is good, so they didn't crash both. But if you feel like not really keeping the balance on the muddy descent, slow down, because here we've got 3 reasons. Number 1, not keeping balance. Number 2, too high speed. So if you don't keep the balance, if you don't feel secure, slow down. You need to adjust the speed to the circumstances always. And then the reason number 3, also with the question mark, is the tire choice. I don't know his tires. Here I was riding the Nobinik in the front, Schwalbe Nobinik, and Racing Ralph in the rear on my Marine, not mine, on the Marine nail trail, and it was just awesome, just perfect. So now we know how to avoid this one. Crash number 3. Here we're gonna see 2 crashes with the same reason, which is a hidden obstacles. And the front wheel, when the front wheel will hit some hidden obstacle, then we may go over the bars, definitely will go off the balance, just as this guy here did. Let's just see that once again. So you can see the guy just there in the front. There was like a small turn between the trees, and now he's going over the bars because he just hit something he didn't see at the beginning. So let's just go back to that one. Here we can see his rear wheel being pretty high and he's going over the bar. He was somehow able to stay on the bike and not really going fully over the bars, but this is the lesson for us. We should always be checking what will happen to our front wheel. The rear wheel is not that vulnerable to any obstacles. It's much easier to just save yourself if you hit something with the rear wheel, but normally you would hit something with the front wheel first. So you need to see the hidden obstacles. Let's just see some other crash. Here is yet another one, hidden obstacle, which was marked by the people who were organizing this event. But this was at low speed. There was, I would say, traffic jam on this marathon, and so we were really close, sitting on each other's wheels, which we don't normally do on the MTB races as you do on the road races, guys. And when we just look at the guy, you know, landing on the ground, we don't know what was the reason. But if we look at the moment just maybe second before, here you can see the obstacle. It is pretty huge. It was a tree here some months ago, and now when we are just sitting on each other's wheel, the guy probably hit with the front wheel. I'm not sure whether he went over the bars or not, but this is the hidden obstacle, and 99.9% it was the front wheel that got off the balance, and so he got off the balance. So we should always be checking the ground ahead of us. We should be scanning the ground and be sure that where the front wheel goes, we know what's there. Sometimes we have to hit the obstacle, but then we just unlift. We lift the weight. We lift the front wheel. We can try to jump, to bunny hop, anything. But if you are surprised with the obstacle, you just hit it, then you crash. The fourth and the last crash here was pretty serious. We were riding in a bunch of riders. It was just the beginning of the race. You can see that we just made 3.5 kilometers, 3.7, and we were going pretty fast. It was slightly down the hill. And what was the reason for this crash? It was an obstacle which is parallel to our lane. I'm not sure how would you call it in English, but if you look at this road here, on this course here, you can see 3 different lines or lanes, the right one, the middle one, and the left one. And there was this girl riding on the left side of this road, and it was pretty safe to ride it. We could really go pretty fast here, but seems like she was trying to change it from the left one to the middle one, and so the parallel to her line obstacle just got her off balance. You can see how quickly her bike will just get off the balance. Let's look at it. Here we are riding in the bunch of people, and now you can see she got off the balance and she took off 2 other riders. It could happen to anyone. It's not because it was a girl. She was pretty fast. She was ahead of me here, but you can see 3 guys going down here. And this kind of obstacle is always really difficult. So if you are riding, for example, in the city, you're commuting, and you are going through some how do you call it, railway? You know what I mean? Through the city, you want to change the line, you just turn a little bit and then you fall. So this situation shows us that turning on such a road, on such a track, may be really tricky. And then reason number 2, let's just stop here and you can see me and how much of a distance I have ahead of me. There is a guy on my right side, there is a guy on the left side. They can both crash, nothing will happen to me, most likely. And this crash just ahead of me, no problem for me to brake and also to just shout to other guys. I just yelled, we have a crash here, so that everyone will go safe through it. It's not always possible because we are riding in the bunch of people, so sometimes you are on the wheel of somebody just for a couple of seconds maybe, but I was always trying to keep the distance. I'm not having the distance because I'm losing time. I'm actually taking over different guys, but always subconsciously trying to find for myself the right place in the pack, so that I will be going safe. I was able to do it safe, but we'll just see how the next season goes. So these were the 4 crashes and 4 reasons, and hopefully more than 4 lessons for us. This was part 1. In part 2, we also are going to be talking about some crashes and some lessons. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.